This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution. This is the future.
Hey guys, how's it going? Matt from Foulball Productions here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing well, because I'm doing phenomenally. Thank you very much. This is the 70th episode of the MFer Podcast. 70. That's pretty cool. About 30 away from 100. From a nice round hundy. That's cool. You know, I've been more consistent, relatively. Obviously not all the time, but, sometimes, generally. But it's good to be here. It's good to be back, folks. Good to be anywhere. You know what I mean? How's it going, Senja Dildo? Good to see you, pal. Thank you for joining me, sir. All the way from Croatia. And Papa Cotton, Wook. What up, dog? Cotton Ministries. Hail. What is up? What is up, everybody? I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I didn't do much. Sure didn't. No. I did get some watching in, though. I have been watching some stuff and some really entertaining content, which it's nice that there's actually sometimes, occasionally, shows that I want to enjoy that I'm not politely putting up with, but I actually enjoy watching. I watched all of the Eternauts, which is a Netflix show from, I believe, Argentina. At least it takes place in Argentina. I don't know if that's where the show was produced, but they speak Spanish, and it is really good. I love it. Like, we're all probably a little, post-apocalyptic it out, right? How many shows and movies and TVs, all that stuff. We're like, all right, a zombie apocalypse, some kind of like end of the world. We know it's been done, it's been dragged, and we got it. However, this show is different. This is a very good show. It's based on a comic book from like the 50s. Like, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is clearly inspired by Fallout. Like, I like just the way they did things, like the way the world was. I was like, this is very much inspired by Fallout. No. I mean, maybe the show is, but certainly not the source material. Source material came out decades and decades ago, when my dad was a wee lad, a little infant. So, long time ago. The Pope probably wasn't even born that long ago. You know what I mean? Anyway, and it's really good. It takes on that concept, and it does it in an extraordinarily unique way. It starts off, and it just kind of feels like one of those shows, and there's a lot of mystery because you see everything through the eyes of the characters. I'm not going to spoil much here, but you see everything from the eyes of just them experiencing it. And like, one of the things that happens is there's no communication, right? So there's no TV, there's no phones, there's no way to know what's going on, right? Everything just gets shut off at once, and you don't know why. And like during the show, I think it's only like 6 episodes too, which sucked. I didn't realize that. I got to the end and I was like, that's it. Very disappointing. So at least if you know that going in, you'll expect it. But so, it has like a mystery as to why this is all happening. And I'm pretty mysteried out. You know what I mean? Especially if it's like the central, like the things that are going on. Like if there's a mystery that you need to understand, that's fine. But like if the mystery is what's happening right now, it gets a little old, and so many shows have just kind of like they ask you to trust them and then they drag it out and drag it out. And that becomes the whole show. Really, that becomes the whole gimmick of the show. I hate that. I don't need that. This show does not do that. This show introduces that and then it pays it off like pretty quickly. I was like, damn, dude, so refreshing. And there's other tropes of the post-apocalyptic thing that it kind of plays with and then subverts, which I really liked too. I mean, how many movies and TV shows and stuff like that is just like, oh, the humans are the real monsters. They're the real bad guys. Like, okie fucking dokie, I mean, could you be slightly more novel, please? We've seen that story a million times. And this show plays with that and then just takes it in a completely different direction. You're like, oh, sick, dude. Just smart, really smart. A good, fun, entertaining show, start to finish. But like I said, short, unexpectedly short, but really clever. The characters aren't stupid either, which is great. The characters make logical decisions that, kind of follow what you think you would do or like that the characters could choose to do in that circumstance, which is also just so refreshing. So many shows just don't, it like, you're like, just do that. Like, it's obvious what to do. Or like, you see them, they're in some kind of survival situation and their gun runs out of bullets. So they drop it. It's like, you could get more bullets. Like, it's like, what are you doing? Why would you just be like, well, this is useless now? It's like, it's currently useless, but you can just get more ammunition. It's like the apocalypse. You know what I mean? Like, just get more 9mm. Like, what are you doing? It's just like, it gets so frustrating. And a lot of shows would do that. And it just really bums me out. It's just like, ugh, it takes you out of it. But it's great. I can't recommend it more. Absolutely highly recommend watching the Eternauts. It is cool. It is smart. It is fun. It's really, really good. Oh, you know that comic? That's cool. I'd never heard about it. Never heard about it. Yeah. I was like, I was going to say another property that I feel like it's inspired from, but I don't want to mention that because it'll be a bit of a spoiler. But I was like, oh, if it's Fallout meets this thing. No. Predates all of them by decades. I was like, oh, okay. This is just new, interesting ideas. Like, not new, but you know what I mean? Like, novel, unique, individual. And you can tell, like, it really doesn't try to be anything else. It doesn't try to be a different show. It doesn't try to, take parts of things we already know and then like, recreate them in a kind of weird, deformed way. It's very, very novel. The whole experience is very novel. The solutions that they have to come up with are novel and creative. And like I said, you really feel like everyone's trying to survive. It's not just stupid. And it's like, there is like I said, there's a mystery to what's going on, which they pay off. And then they introduce like another mystery and they kind of pay that off too, which is like so much more respectful to your audience. I prefer that. Like, I want to have that experience where I'm watching something and like, you're not just manipulating me. You're telling me a good, well-structured story. It's like, sick. Thank you. Eternauts is good. Highly recommend it. What up, Low Spec? Good to see you, pal. Good to see you. Yeah, the humans are the real virus, man. Ugh. It's like, it's not even that's like that bad of a point. It's just tired. It's a cliche at this point. Like, okay, man, we got it. How many times are you going to make that point? Like, it's interesting once in a while, especially when you kind of like put that in like the context of the zombie apocalypse. Like, okay, that's interesting. Like, these guys are real monsters, So people and I'm sure if something like that happened, there would be like sociopathic people who would take advantage of the chaos and the weakness of everybody to, do all types of horrible things. That's probably true. We've just seen it so many times, it gets old. And it's like when you keep beating it down, it's like, all right, shut up. What up, man of war? Good to see you, sir. Hello. I'm welcome to what? I don't know what I'm welcome for. Was this your recommendation? Oh, you did mention it last week. That's right. Yeah. You were right. You're 100% right. It's a very good show, and it's not woke. Boom. It's smart. It actually is interesting because the main characters are all like middle-aged men, like in their 50s, it looks like, you know what I mean? Like they're not like young svelte heroes. They're just like dudes. And the one guy does kind of have this superpower that like, is revealed later in the show and you're like, "Oh, cool." And it's not something that they like. It's also there's like a price to pay for I really want to avoid spoilers. But like he has this ability, but it's like there's a cost to it that he had to pay to get it. And it's like that is so interesting. It's like we don't see that in modern fiction. Like obviously people criticize like all the kind of Mary Sue female characters who are just amazing, but it is far more interesting if you see a character that has like some incredible ability or something like that, but there's a gigantic, like a tremendous cost to them, to have gone through it, to have gone through, to have gotten it, or just in general, like there's just a balance to it. It's just way more interesting to see that, whether it's male or female. Like no one, I think male Mary Sues are just as boring. It's just like it's not even about the gender. It's more annoying when it's the gender because then it's coupled with all this other propaganda. And it's for a time there, it was every single show that came out and movie and everything. So it was extra annoying. But it's a sin in writing, no matter what the gender of the character is boring. And so when you kind of do that, like, oh, that's smart. It's like layered. It's an intelligent show, and I appreciate that. It doesn't hold your hand. And it's an action heavy show. Like there's a lot of, like, so it's, even though it's subtitles, I really didn't mind. I honestly didn't find that annoying or distracting or laborious, like some movies are much better with subtitles than others. Like there's a movie I really enjoy called The Motorcycle Diaries. It's essentially about the early life of Che Guevara. So it's, kind of communist propaganda, but it's a really good movie. And it's in Spanish, and I watch it with the subtitles, and it's like you can the subtitles are done so well in that movie. Like when I hear back the movie in my head, I hear it in English. Like that's how perfect the translation is, and the timing. The subtitle timing is a whole art. And this show really has that nailed down. So yeah. Whoa, actions have consequences. Must be experimental cinema. Yeah, exactly. It's like a French art film. Very good movie. Yeah, very good movie. I really, really like that movie. It's fun. It's like a buddy road trip comedy about a communist revolutionary. There's a lot of movies about Che. There's a lot of those movies. That was like a whole thing for a while. Hollywood was just, jerking off over the corpse of Che Guevara. Was just like, that guy is not a good guy. He's a murderer, like big time. He killed a lot of people. At gunpoint, like executed them, not like in a battle. He's not a good dude. Plus, communism is fucking stupid. Look how it worked out for Cuba. Way to go. Really dumb. Bike road trip. Yeah, no, it was good. What do they call that? The mighty one or something? They called the I think that's what they called the motorcycle, the mighty one. It was great. So much fun. That's a good movie too. Yeah, so I highly recommend The Eternauts. Check that out. Really excellent show. Refreshing, finally. I'm not caught up on this week's Mobland, but last week's was great. The show just continues to kick ass. I love it. It's everything I want, and like those kind of gritty genre crime pictures. It doesn't try to do too much. It's focused. It keeps the characters. It's just like a small, like a relatively small ensemble. It's not trying to do too much, not introducing too much. It like stays focused. It's smart. It's simple. Good. Cool. Very slick, very stylized. It's like the kind of this mature Guy Ritchie thing that he's going through with like The Gentleman, both the movie and the TV show, which is kind of like a little bit less of that sort of, kind of rugged. It's, style, gangster thing like he did with Snatch and Lockstock. These are much slicker and more elegant and cleaner colors and cooler filters. It's really good. I think it's one of the best shows on TV. It's a blast. Somehow every episode I'm like, God, I need more, but I'm also satisfied. It's once again, I think it's a show that respects its audience and treats it with respect. It's like, thank God, it's nice to have that every once in a while. Just so many years of shows that just like are just stringing you along. And it's just so rude. It's like you feel taken, you feel like you bought a product and you took it home and it broke. You're like, I trusted you, no good. Mobland does indeed rule. It does indeed. And then, I watched that movie Warfare. I think that's what it's called. I think it's called Warfare, by Alex Garland. Yeah. Because I saw a video by Critical Drinker on it, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'll give it a go. It sounds interesting. It's I don't know. It's different. It was pretty bleak. It's just essentially is a true story about these Navy SEALs who kind of get ambushed in Iraq and have to get out. It's pretty much the entire story. It all takes place in this one building, and it's just them trying to leave. And then there's like an ambush and an assault on the house that they're in. That's the whole story. It's done in a very different way. There's not really a main character. It's co-directed by this Navy SEAL guy whose name I can't think of. So him and Garland co-directed it. And I guess the idea behind it is that it's trying to be a little bit more to the way warfare really goes down, instead of kind of the way it's like romanticized in movies. There's not like a central hero. It's not like a kind of emotional, like overcoming, thing kind of moment. It doesn't have like sentimental music, but it also doesn't have many enemy kills. And I gotta be honest, as someone who enjoys war movies, it is hard to watch the good guys not get any payback. Like, I guess I'm just like a propagandized American, but I was like, I want to see them get some fucking Hajis, man. Like, come on, get some. Like, it's frustrating because you're just like, these guys are just suffering, and and you don't see them, there's no catharsis. There's not that moment, where they come over the hill. There's not it's not Mel Gibson running with the American flag to save America from the British. Obviously, that's a comedically over the top example, but Josh Hartnett and in Black Hawk Down, and they march their way out, and they are getting Somalis on their way out. Like, it's a whole story. You know what I mean? You feel like there's a catharsis to it when you feel like the guys aren't getting any, and they're just everything's just bad. It's hard to watch, but once I read about it, once I looked into it and realized that was kind of the goal, is kind of trying to not romanticize it. It's kind of showing just like how it really goes down. It's like, that's a very noble thing to do. But like I said, it's a tough watch. It's not just a normal war movie, because it's just all you pretty much just see are these guys suffering the whole time, and it's kind of brutal. It's like you want to see them, you want to see them get some. You want to see him get some payback, and that they don't. I think there's like one Iraqi gets shot. That's all you see. Oh, I always forget to put my phone on do not disturb. Boom. Said you diddle liked it. Word. Hell yeah, brother. And it was a breath of fresh air. Yeah, I mean, look, it's definitely different. It was novel. Wasn't woke. But it's hard to watch. I thought. Said Dildo says, reminded me of a Croatian film, soldiers in a house battling, but they all die at the end. Oof. What's up, E. Clay Thomason? Hello. Good to see you, sir. Haven't seen you in a bit. That sucks. Yeah, that's tough, man. I mean, throughout the years, war movies truly have just kind of served as propaganda. So it's probably good to make it bleak, but it's a little tough to watch. Years ago, I saw that movie, Letters from Iwo Jima. If you remember this, like around the 2000s, early aughts. He did two movies, Flags of Our Fathers and Letters from Iwo Jima. And Letters from Iwo Jima, I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't quite remember everything. But as I recall, the movie is about Iwo Jima, a battle fought in World War II in the Pacific, from the perspective of the Japanese, which is like, oh, that's novel. That's interesting, And it's like you kind of meet these two bumbling soldiers, kind of like Hidden Fortress a little bit, just these kind of like bumbling Japanese guys who like are on the, they're kind of incompetent soldiers, and they're sort of lovable, and you kind of, learn to like them, like Laurel and Hardy in World War II or something. And then then the battle starts, and you see the guys on the beach, and you're like, wait, those are Americans. Like, I don't want you to kill them, but I'm emotionally attached to these guys now. It's very conflicting. I was like, oh, wow. Like, it gave me so much perspective on war. Like, I know that sounds childish, But it was just one of those things that I was just like, oh yeah, like you really, it's all human beings on each side. You know what I mean? It's not like the evil. It's like those dudes don't want to get shot. I mean, I'm not like a pacifist. I'm not saying we shouldn't go to war ever, and certainly not saying that about the Japanese in World War II. Like I've said before, like fucking two nukes was generous for what they were up to. They were up to some shit with with Unit 731. Is like, we were lucky to let you live as a country. You should have just gotten rid of it, started over. It's fucking horrible what they were doing, raping Nanking and all that stuff. So I'm not one of these guys, but I did have a moment watching that movie where I was just like, wow, that is really profound, and kind of just, and I was younger. I don't know, probably, I don't know how old I was, maybe high school, college, something like that. But it just like messed up with the dynamics. Now, you normally watch a war movie. It's about the Americans usually. In America, that's what I watch. And you see the bad guys, and you get attached to the company or whatever, the platoon, and then when they get the bad guys, you're like, yeah, get them, and you feel like rah rah. But when you completely threw that dynamic off, I was like, oh God, it's just such a different experience. And it was truly, genuinely eye-opening. Yeah, the end of warfare is way more uplifting in comparison to boy. Well, I guess they didn't. I guess none of them died. I guess those guys saved all those dudes, which is pretty amazing. Like they show like like a bunch of the real dudes at the end. It's interesting too. They show like the actor compared to the soldier towards the end of in the end credits, and most of the faces were blurred out. And I was like, wow, that's weird. I've never really seen that before. It was a very unique experience. Yeah. Matt, should have seen Warfare in the theater. The sound, bro. The sound. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I mean, I kind of like Alex Garland, like he did, like, what's that movie? Ex Machina, which I enjoyed. I wasn't sure if he was going for some feminist message at the end there. It was a little muddy. I've also heard it interpreted as just no, she's just evil. It's not about that. And I forget. And he did that other movie, Civil War, which I didn't see, but I heard was pretty poorly received. So I don't really know. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, I like that. Like, do you ever see? There's a movie called The Wind That Shakes the Barley with for like Ken Loach. It's about the Irish Revolutionary War, the Irish Revolution in like the 20s. I remember the sound design in that was incredible. Like the rifles snapped and sounded like real rifles. They were fucking loud. The gunshots were loud. And it's like, yeah, I mean, if you've ever shot a gun, they're fucking loud as hell. Like I can't imagine what a battle would sound like. It just must be deafening noise constantly. How do they not all have like permanent hearing damage from stuff like that? Like, have you ever? I go to a gun range here in Austin, and it's like it's indoor, and I got my 9. I'm trying to be a better shot, not a great shot, working on it. But guys will bring ARs there, deafening. Even with I have earplugs and the things in, deafening, dude. It's like you boom the whole range. Like I hate when those guys fire the big rounds there because it's just like it's like shudders you. You feel each shot. And it's just like guns are loud. I like when movies take that seriously. We just kind of think of it as like almost like pops, like a cap gun, but they're very, very loud. Yeah, it matters a lot. Civil War was retarded though. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They do have permanent hearing damage. Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I would think so. I guess you couldn't go into war with earplugs in, huh? Do they do that? I don't actually know. Maybe they do. Imagine being in a tank all day. Oh my God. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so those loud, cannon explosions. Yeah. I watched something else, but I don't quite remember what it was. But anyway, yeah, Warfare was, I said, interesting. Like I said, not cathartic necessarily, but a really unique take on the genre. And Mobland Rules and the Eternauts is 100% recommended. Now they have ear protection. Okay, that makes sense. That does make sense, to be completely honest. I mean, yeah, that would be crazy, especially when you're so young. All right, let's get into some feckin' news stories, huh, guys? What do you say now that the movie talk is over? All right, I got a bunch I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about the trade war thing. We'll get to that later. You know what I was a little disappointed by? Okay, so they elected. Is that how they do it? They elect a pope. They elected a new pope. the guy's from Chicago, which I was like, oh, that's interesting. We've never had an American Pope. I don't think ever, but certainly not in my lifetime. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. And I was like, it'll be, very interesting to hear the Pope speak English. And then he didn't. I was like, what? What the hell? What's the good of having an American Pope if you're just going to speak in Italian? I guess, I don't know. I was bummed out by that. I was like, well, because, it's like you hear the Pope speak, but I don't know. It's just sounds and words. I don't, I'd like to hear what the Pope's actually saying in English for once. No, Italian. It's like, what? Why? Speak English. That really bugged me. Pope Bob from Chicago. Yes. Yeah, he didn't. I saw like, what the hell? I don't know. You think the Pope's going to talk to Trump? I guess JD saw the other one. Everyone jokes that he killed him, which is kind of funny. But I wonder, wonder if the Pope's going to talk to Trump. That'd be interesting. I'd like to see that. There's not really anything else. I don't, I looked into the guy. I guess he did mission work in Peru. There really wasn't much about him. It's like even the Vatican's website had a very brief description. I was like, what makes this guy popey? Like, how do you know? And isn't like the Pope's supposed to be omnipotent, right? Isn't that like how I understand it? Like the Pope was like speaks for God kind of thing. So weird. It's like, so all of them were omnipotent. I doubt that. Seems unlikely. Interesting. I don't know. Probably because most Anglos are Protestants. Is that true? I don't know. A lot of Catholics where I'm from, but a lot of Irish and Italian folk. I don't know. you think he's a fruitcake? Clay? That's what you're saying? You think the Pope's gay? Not this Pope, but the Pope before it, he seemed like a little bit of a creep. He wore like red Gucci shoes and he had like a little kind of vibe to him. I don't know. You're suspicious. Last commie Pope stacked the electorate with his people. Really? There's like corruption and like electorate stacking in the church. My God. And he was a commie Pope, right? There were protests today. Faith leaders, I saw this. Let me pull this up because there actually is video of this. I was watching Dave Smith on Tucker earlier. Very good conversation. I don't know how I feel about Tucker, but I do like Dave a lot. Let me see here. Protests. Yeah. Okay, cool. Got it. Boom. Boom, shakalaka. Yeah, so there's all these faith leaders outside of a hold on. Boom. Outside of an ICE detention center in Newark, New Jersey, which is very close to where I grew up. Very, very close indeed. But there's all these different faith leaders. This is not a good shot of it, though. The one I saw, like everyone was like wearing like their religious garb. Fascism's got to go. Oh my God, dude. Boomer libs are the worst. I would take boomer neocons over boomer libs any day, dude. What up? What up, Boosh? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man. Boosh McFadden. Hello. Tucker Carlson, hit or miss. I generally like him. Yeah, sometimes I like him. He's cool. I don't know. But yeah, these boomer libs are brutal, dude. I did a video, did not do well. I worked really, really hard on it and worked really hard on the thumbnail and nothing. Lowest click-through rate I've maybe ever had. I was like, wow, all right, dropped the ball on that one. But I covered the boomer libs and they really are they just never got over the hippie shit. They never did. Like they're still like singing songs and like I'm so tired of people talking about fascism, dude. I am so sick of hearing that word fascist. Like shut the fuck up. Like this is not fascism, like this is the most like receptive to criticism fascist state there's ever been. You know what I mean? Like crazy, dude. I don't know. No one's like thrown in jail or murdered in the middle of the night, like typically goes along with fascism.
No, we say no, we say no, we say no, we say no.
Oh, these guys are so corny. Like, this is I said this last week, but I was just like, some of these guys like Cenk Unger and Hassan. It's just kind of like, if you guys really want the war in Israel to stop, like, I would just support it. I would just go pro-Israel, because everyone will just look at it and be like, ugh, I can't agree with these douchebags. That's like, that's this, you're just like, well, even if I was against the deportation of illegal immigrants, like, you guys are not, you're making me almost, I just don't want to associate with you. Like, I can't be on your side. Like, you suck so much, like, my buddy Mike sent me a video of like Bernie like protesting the war in Palestine and in Israel, and I was like, fuck, I agree with Bernie. Shit. Like, I don't want to find myself there. This sucks, dude. I don't like it. I'm not a fan. No human is illegal, man. So crazy, dude. It's just the weirdest take. You're just like, why is this something that you're on the side of? Like, I do feel bad for the individuals, but they got sold a lie by these previous administrations. So no, sorry. You got to go.
Fascism's got to go.
Oh my God.
All right, that's the scene in
That's the scene. But there was like I saw it. It was all these faith leaders, like all these people, like, priests and stuff like that were there. I'm so wary of any of this, though. I'm just like, they're paid, like, there's so many paid protesters in these situations. So it's just like, I don't know if this is real. I have no idea, but it is. I mean, it is such an 80-20 thing, though. I just feel like most people are like, yeah, we got to stop the flood of illegal immigrants, and they got to go back to their country. It's like not like a wild thing. You know what I mean? It's not a wild take. And people were trying to, like, I guess the South African immigrants showed up today, or refugees showed up today, and they're like, oh, they're white. Bet Trump likes that. Bet MAGA's not going to. It's just like, I don't know. Like, they sound like they're having a pretty rough go of it. And are they going to come here and integrate, be part of the culture? Then fine. Like, I was listening to a podcast with Dave Smith a few weeks ago, and he was talking about how, prior to the 60s, our immigration policy was very much like in favor of European nations because we share culture and they'll be able to integrate. If you're not able to integrate, people will have a problem with it. That's every culture ever, like if you just made, if Bolivia was just going to be all Uzbekistani now, I think people in Bolivia would be like, no, like, we are Bolivian. We speak Spanish. Like, you can't just have like all these Uzbekistanians in here now. It's like, what are you, racist against Uzbekistanians? Like, that's not the point at all. Point is, I have a country in my culture and I want to keep it that way. You can't just come in here and take it. Like, you know what I mean? When you kind of put it like that, it's just sort of like, yeah, that does seem a little insane. That does seem crazy. And it's like, I have a lot of Latino neighbors, and they're very sweet people. They're very nice. I'm not against them as a people. They do things that are culturally different, though. Some things that are just, you know what I mean? Like the loud fucking mariachi music at 2:30 in the morning because their, kid turned 2. It's just like, God damn it, guys, fucking chill with the noise. But there is something to be said for shared culture. There's a lot to be said for it. There's like, just look at Europe. I mean, boy, they're running into some issues with these kind of not shared cultural norms. Everyone's not the same. We're not all identical. We're not all just like, interchangeable units. We are different. We have different values and different virtues. Carl Benjamin has been doing a lot on this recently. He did a great video on this very subject, and I really, really liked it. He's sharp on this issue, 100%. Okay. Because it doesn't affect them in their nice neighborhoods. Well, this takes that protest was in Newark. And so I imagine those people live in New Jersey, would be my assumption, or at least nearby. New Jersey is one of the most segregated states in the union. You know, like it's on paper, it's extremely diverse, but in practice, it is spectacularly segregated. Like where I live, where I grew up, is very close to Newark, like right down the road, like 10, 15 minutes, and you'd never know. It's a completely different neighborhood. Like like when you're in a black neighborhood, you know, and it's a line, dude. It's so segregated. It's crazy. Like people are very much in their neighborhoods. Like, you know, that like Patterson is like more Hispanic. You know that like South Orange or sorry, East Orange and Newark are more black. Like it's crazy how segregated New Jersey is. So you might be right. You know, wherever they live, it might just be very much like, oh yeah, that neighborhood they're from is like, yeah, they don't have this issue. I don't know, but I can tell you growing up there, it's just really segregated. Boosh. Fascism, an aspect of government that supports strict nationalist tendencies. Our democracy. Rigid control of media, entertainment, education, and commerce, and rigid oppression and suppression of opposition. That's fascism. That's true. That's true. That's what you've been doing. That's what the establishment has been doing for a very long time. We're finally free, brother. We're finally free, I tell you. Let's go. Go, Trump. You can't control the population if you don't use immigration. Interesting. Yeah, there's just really there's no argument for it, you know? And we are still, we still have like some of the most open borders and pro-immigration like practices and policies that in the world. We're very, very comfortable with it. You know, it's just, you can't just have completely unchecked immigration streaming across the border. Like we have enemies, you know what I mean? There are people out there who mean to do us harm. And if you leave that open, they will get through. I don't see what's the argument here. What is the other side of this? I don't get. It's like, I don't know. Come on, Matt. Once all them Jeets touch your magic soul, they'll immediately become American bigot. Yeah. Well, that's kind of like the arrogance of like what Carl Benjamin's pointing out, that people kind of like it's basically they're imposing like the English kind of tradition on the world. I mean, it doesn't fit. The rest of the world doesn't share that culture, doesn't share those values, you know? And it's like, it's pretty arrogant. It's a pretty arrogant thing to do. Because it's like, you're just sure that your way of the life is best for all people. And we're just going to force it on them. And it's just kind of like, no, we're not going to do that. We're actually just going to kind of maintain this one, and they can maintain theirs, and we'll be separate countries. And that's fine. That's okay. That's a good thing. Okay. We're going to do that. We're not just going to homogenize the entire world into some, bland, unidentifiable mob. We're Americans, and we have certain cultural values here, and we're going to try to maintain them. Thank you. Like, it's not that crazy. Boosh. Foulball, you know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris? Yeah, that's a good one. No one wants to say it, but Christians and Muslims just don't mix very well. It doesn't seem like it. It does not seem like it. It hasn't been much of an issue here in the United States, I don't think. I don't know many Muslims. I think the only Muslim I know is Cameron Pasha, and I don't know him. He's just done the show before. But I don't think I know any Muslims at all. And or have encountered many. It just doesn't come up. There's like the whole black Muslim thing that was very popular for a while. The kind of Malcolm X style Muslim thing. That's still a thing, kind of. Like I think it's Dave Chappelle is like that. But no, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's working in Europe at all. No. Seems like a big problem. Big problem. Europe, how about New Year's Eve 2014 in Berlin, foul ball? 14,000 grapes in one night. Whoa, really? Is that true? I didn't know that. That's bananas. I'm not an economical unit. I'm a human being. You're darn tootin', Ascension dildo. Tell me otherwise. California Libs speak. Yeah. some of the most open borders. USA is the most open border on the planet. That's true. That's a fact. That is a fact. Corpos love their cheap labor. I don't think it's only that, though. People talk about that. I don't really think that's what's going on. I think it's more about rigging the states to vote Democrat. That's what I think. I think it's just kind of like flooding it with kind of poor, underprivileged people who are going to need government assistance in this country. And then they're kind of being like hooked on the system for life. And then that being like a lifetime blue voter, like California. I think that's what is more of the plan. They say that about the cheap labor. I think like that's true to a degree, but I don't think that's like the whole reason that they like open the border so that corporations can get cheap labor. I don't think it's that. Because at some point too, you just need some degree of skill, that you need to pay for. I don't know. Globo homo though, for sure. There are 21 million illegals going into Germany or China. Really? Damn. I knew a bunch of Muslims in DC. Actual Muslims, they suck. This is Boosh. I'm not saying this. I don't know. Nation of Islam is basically Black Aryan Nation. That's true. And there's millions of them. I think Aryan Nation has like 15,000. That's actually true. Yeah, they are probably some of the most racist people I've ever encountered. I used to see them a lot when I lived in Brooklyn. And they would just shout horrible things about the white man to you as you walk by. They were never aggressive. They never physically aggressive. They just would yell it, and I would be like, okay, this is New York City. I mean, you see crazier shit than that all the time. But yeah, they are incredibly racist, extraordinarily racist. It's crazy. It's not only that, but it drives it up too. You get that from the state. You get it from the state and from businesses. Yeah, I mean, sure. I'm sure it has something to do with it. I'm not gonna be, completely blind to that. But Trump is doing some good shit. He had a big. So I guess we'll talk about it now. He had a big press conference today. Where's that document? Why did I? Oh my God. So unprepared. What an amateur. What an amateur tuber I am. Weak. No, but Trump had a big press conference today where he talked about a lot of different things he was accomplishing. And it looks like, at least for now, temporarily, Trump has won the trade war with China. It looks like they bluffed. He called it. They came immediately to the negotiating table. That's exactly what it looks like to me. We're going to talk about it a little bit, but he talked about a lot of things in this press conference. And the other thing that he talked about, which I'd never heard before, but is like regulating prescription drug prices, because he tells this whole story about a friend of his who was taking, I guess, like Ozempic or whatever. And he's like, in New York City, this cost me like $1,300. And in London, it's like $80. Like, what's the deal? Called Trump. Was like, what's the deal? So Trump looks into it. And I guess he's talked about this before, but apparently so as I understand it, which is, let's just say pretty much not at all, but it's interesting. The European Union, or certain European countries that have a collective negotiation on the price of a drug, enforce that on the pharmaceutical companies, and they can't sell it for any other price than that. They have to abide by that. Well, we don't have that here. Obviously, we don't have any kind of centralized public health thing. So we are more at the mercy of free market forces, or let's just say market forces, not free market forces, to the price of prescription drugs. Well, what ends up happening here is the drugs are so spectacularly expensive because they're making up for the profit they're losing with the European Union. So we're just paying for them. We're subsidizing their healthcare and their low drug prices with our spectacularly high drug prices. Like my ex-girlfriend, she had to get these eye drops. I'm not kidding, they were $600, not covered by insurance. Just had to buy them outright. And they only lasted like a month. It's like $600 a month for these fucking eye drops. That's crazy. And we have to pay these super high prices just because we Europe negotiated a low price, and we're subsidizing all that. We're subsidizing profits for a pharmaceutical company that should be like a price. Fuck that shit. When I learned that, I was like, whoa, I am a little pissed off, you know? And it's so funny, too. Like, I'm on 9gag a lot, meme site. There's a lot of Europeans on there. Smuggest people in the world. We share more culture with Europeans, but as dudes, I don't fucking like those guys. They are arrogant, condescending little fucks. Very often, they think the lowest of all of so much of what we do here. They always talking shit about our beer. I'm like, bro, you have no idea, man. Beer here is so good. There's so many good breweries. Whatever. But they're always so arrogant about their healthcare. And they're always so condescending. It's like, yeah, buddy. I'm sure you got a lot of leftover money when we're now subsidizing these companies that are selling it to you at a lower price. Sure, you got that. And you don't have to worry about a fucking military. I bet you got a lot of leftover cash after that. Well, Trump and JD are right. We need to stop propping these people up. What is the deal with that? Why do we put that on our shoulders? Just take a dick and then they get, like privileges out of that? Why? Screw that, dude. Screw that. And Trump laid the gauntlet down on that. Gave the pharmaceutical companies 30 days to figure it out. They're like, I don't know, figure it out because we're not screwing over American people who have to pay for these drugs so that we can subsidize Europe. Europe's like, ooh, great healthcare. It's like, but subsidize again, once again. You just, it bothered me so fucking much. So fucking much. Norway, we have free healthcare. What's your defense expense? Sorry, what? How much do you pay to NATO? All right, yeah, we're poor. Exactly. All these countries. It's just like, yeah, we subsidize all of it. No wonder we're broke. No wonder we're $34 trillion in debt. Obviously, European only works because of the USA. That's right, boosh. They are some arrogant fucks, though. I don't like it. They're just so smug and condescending. Fucking pricks. Not a fan. Not a fan. Boom, Matt. How about we move that goalpost back home? Let's go. Let's go, dude. Let's do it. American interest, Matt. American people get fucked. Oligarchy gets richer. Word. Preach it, brother. Preach it. But I'm telling you, man, Donald Trump's not playing games. He is not playing games, dude. He does not back down. Carl Benjamin put out a video speculating that maybe Trump's done with Israel and Netanyahu and hates the guy and doesn't want to do what he wants to do anymore. I was like, bro, no one stands up to Netanyahu. He's the boss of the bosses. You know what I mean? He's the one in charge. We just do what he says. Seems like Trump's not that guy. Straight up not that guy. It's like, interesting. I mean, that's Carl's opinion. I didn't put that together myself. I don't know. Could be. I hope so. I don't want us subsidizing any foreign wars. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be involved. Period. Here's a thought. Stop giving $17 trillion in foreign spending and your children's health. Your children will have free health care. That's fair. That is fair as well. And also, we got to stop giving benefits to people who aren't paying taxes. You can't. That's crazy, dude. It's like you got to pay in. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. You doubt it? I don't know. Since you doubt it, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt the king, President Trump, King Trump. All right. So this is the trade thing, though. So, like I said, it really looks like we won, or sorry, it really looks like Trump won this trade war with China, right? It's kind of been a back and forth, and there was this whole thing with the tariffs and all that, and then he put them globally, then he paused them, then he only had just on China. It kind of looked a little crazy, so it's kind of hard to decipher. But U.S. and China agree to slash tariffs temporarily after trade talks. So it's they're at the negotiating table, right? They're talking, and Trump kind of puts it he's like, they gotta follow through what they're saying. But it seemed like he just called their bluff. They jacked up these huge tariffs. I'll just read the article. The United States and China agreed Monday to a 90-day truce in their raging trade war, with each agreeing to slash reciprocal tariffs by more than 100 percentage points, bringing China's duty rate down to just 10%. Let's fucking go. Under the agreement, the U.S. will drop its 145% tariff rate on most Chinese goods to 30%, while China will lower its rate to 10 from 125%. The agreement also includes mechanism talks toward a permanent deal to continue, and two sides spoke with how they will both address the flow of fentanyl from China to the U.S. A White House readout of the agreement text. Yes, I like that he always addresses that fentanyl thing. That's a big deal, dude. That was like one of those things that like kept killing a lot of people. I had a friend personally that died from that shit. And, you know, you'd hear about the stars, just like people just doing blow one night out and then they're dead because it had fentanyl in it. And it's like, it's not just a talking point, you know, that's not just like kind of a thing, a political prop. That's real, dude. People's kids are dying from, maybe doing drugs. It's bad. I get that. But, you shouldn't like, if you don't know you're taking it and it's flooded into our markets, like that needs to stop. Like that needs to go, bro. Not cool. Not cool at all. America first. Damn right, Bush. Damn right, Bush. Let's go. What does France do for USA except talk shit? Norway, Sweden, Finland, UK. Why are we always giving those people money? At least Israel praises the USA. I mean, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. But if Dave Smith's right and General Wesley Clark is right and Israel got us into Iraq and Afghanistan and Libya, and we fought all those wars with American tax dollars and lives and men, and we did that because Israel didn't want to have like any strong competition in the region. Fuck Israel, dude. I don't give a shit. That's crazy, man. You're going to put like my entire generation, you know what I mean, through that hell. So you don't have like strong competition. Like if that's the goal, like the end of history goal kind of thing to like, rule the world and be the American empire and help out it. No way. No fucking way. Fuck that. I am not on board with that. I do not support that. I don't give a shit. That is so fucking far away. I am not cool with it. Not at all. Boosh, I had fentanyl when I had my surgery in December. That shit is tight, but bad. Can't be on the streets, but it's so good. That's funny. I've never really been into downers. I've never done fentanyl, but Percocet and that type of stuff, it just kind of makes me feel weird. I did oxys once. I just feel like I'm floating. I don't feel like good on it. I feel kind of odd. Plus it makes me itch. I've never been a fan, but some people, different strokes. Different strokes. I'm trying really hard to give a fuck, but it's not working. That's so funny. Praises you publicly while backroom fucking you and your bussy bush. That's funny. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it. Like I don't really need like the flagellation. I need to stop fighting wars on their behest. Unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. Okay. Dude, that was so interesting about this press conference. Like Trump was like being positive, talking about China. Like I think I should just probably pull up this press conference because it's kind of better to hear it from Trump himself, actually, because like where are we? He was like being positive about talking positively about China. I've never heard him speak positively about China, but he was genuinely like, talking good on them. It's just kind of like, dude, whenever people like come around and do the right thing, like you gotta give him credit, man. Trump, like, here we go. He drops the bullshit. He doesn't stick it in and break it off. You dork. I had emergency life-saving surgery. It wasn't exactly a choice, idiot. No, I got that. I understand. But I'm just saying, like, even when I've had like drugs for surgery or something like that. Glad you survived, by the way, too. But I had they gave me something for my wisdom teeth. And I was like, I don't know, it was fine, but I wasn't like, oh, I need this again. Like I was just kind of like, I guess it's a weird little buzz, but I didn't care. I don't know. I'm just not, it's never been something I've enjoyed personally. Let me see where we are here in this thing with China.
As negotiators continue in the larger structural issues. And I want to tell you that a couple of things. First of all, that doesn't include the tariffs that are already on, that are our tariffs. And it doesn't include tariffs on cars, steel, aluminum, things such as that, or tariffs that may be imposed on pharmaceuticals, because we want to bring the pharmaceutical businesses back to the United States. And they're already starting to come back now based on tariffs. because they don't want to pay 25, 50, or 100% tariffs. So they're moving them back to the United States. I spoke to Tim Cook this morning, and he's going to, I think, even up his numbers, 500 billion.
That's the one thing too, that like whatever you feel about this tariffs, because I've heard a lot of contentious discussion about it, and from smart people too, not just from people who are just screeching at anything Trump does, people who actually have like a real issue with it. You say what you want, and I don't know if it's going to raise the price of goods. I don't know if taxes are going to go. I don't know about any of that, but I will say, inarguably, he has gotten more companies to invest in infrastructure here than I can. I don't know any president that I can think of in modern era. I mean, I don't know if I can back that up, but you see so many companies are just like, all right, we're going to spend $500 billion building factories here. I mean, it's so many companies, countries, people are investing in the American infrastructure aggressively. So that's obviously working. You know what I mean? That's obviously doing something for this country significantly, as far as just like, its GDP, and then like the opportunities for more Americans to have like just decent paying jobs. You can argue what you want. Those are results directly from this. And it's only been like a few months. It's May. When did he take office officially? January? Hasn't even been 4 months yet. Dude gets shit done, brother. Dude gets shit done.
He's going to be building a lot of plants in the United States for Apple. And
Tim Apple. I love seeing the big tech guys come around too, man. That is just so refreshing, because those guys wield so much power. And I mean, I've seen it, like, the Meta, like obviously Zuckerberg trying to be cool. It's just so funny. But he, like, his restrictions on what you can say and what goes on in the platforms is much more relaxed. I even feel like YouTube is not nearly the same. I feel like they adjusted a lot of their algorithms and stuff. Like, I used to, every live stream I would do, it pretty much just gets instantly demonetized, like instantly. Like, it wouldn't last, it's like YouTube was just so censorious. And they've stopped. I mean, I feel like they've stopped. I feel like they've really chilled. The only thing I ever see, I can make a banner appear, guys. Watch. The only thing I ever see them still really go about is the climate change thing. Climate change and flat earth. Those are the things I'll always see like a banner on YouTube. But I think that's just old program. They just haven't changed. For the most part, they're not worried about policing misinformation. I feel like their algorithms are more favorable to like just truly what you're into and not like pushing noise. Things have changed, dude. The culture has changed. And I think it has all to do with Trump getting elected. Because it's, a lot of these guys, these tech guys, and business owners in general, they kind of just go with what's the prevailing wind. And if the prevailing wind is like, LGBTQ plus IA thing, whatever, and BLM and, white people are bad, they're just going to go with it. Like, I don't think they're going to, like, most of those guys, when you're dealing with companies with trillions of dollars, you're not just going to be like, no, I'm taking a personal stand on this issue. You're just doing what's best for business. I'd like to believe is their motivation. Then it's not nefarious. But a lot of these guys, like, now that the tides changed, now the tone in the country has changed. These guys, like, they're coming around, like Tim Cook, like Apple, you know what I mean? Working like directly with Trump like this, like enriching the infrastructure of America, like pretty big turnaround, dude. Pretty big turnaround. Like, you got to give Trump, man, his absolute resiliency in this situation. I couldn't take that. I don't like when I get a bunch of downvotes on a video. Like when I work hard on something and it doesn't work, like I don't take it well. You know what I mean? This guy has weathered so much criticism for so many years. I mean, it's the whole world. I mean, even when he was, and I said this before, but everyone forgets this. Like, Fox News and the Republicans, they didn't want Trump. They were all talking shit about him on his run. They did not want him. Fox News didn't. The Republican establishment didn't. Most conservatives didn't. There was a whole, not most conservatives, but like a lot of like kind of more establishment types didn't want Trump in, and he weathered all that. And then 4 years of lies. I mean, literal treason You know, I mean, the intelligence agencies accusing him of colluding with a foreign nation. That's treasonous to do that to him. Then, you know, let's say there was a dicey election in 2020 with some pretty suspicious graphs that came out of that. Some pretty peculiar looking numbers came out of that election. And the two most voted for presidents in the history of the country. Pretty interesting. Trump was the lead, and then Trump had the most, and then Biden beat him with even more than that. Joe Biden, most beloved president in history, apparently, highest voted ever. Yeah, that was plausible. I buy that totally. You know, in the middle of these lockdowns with this mysterious virus. Oh, wait, what happened? Oh, it turns out it was us. It was our goddamn government funding this gain of function research. Oopsie daisy. It just got out. Someone ate a pangolin and we had to shut the world down. It's out of our hands, guys. It's completely out of our hands. Okay. Whether's that, I mean, you know, lawsuits, legal action, like 45 felonies or whatever, felony charges or whatever, gets fucking shot. Fucking comes through and still doing it, dude. Like, I get wary of like, you know, kind of hero worship or, you know, sort of buying, like drinking the Kool-Aid too much. But I just keep seeing this dude just keeps fighting and actually is fighting for America. Like, he's like, no, we can't overcharge our citizens for pharmaceuticals. Fix it. It's like, sick, dude. Look, let's go. Like, I like that. You know, these tariffs are like, yeah, we're losing out. You know, I don't know. I just feel like the dude's the real deal and truly means it. You know, like I said, like if not, like if it's bullshit or whatever, he's not as effective. That's you know, completely reasonable to say, completely reasonable to point out, and I'll absolutely admit it. But from where I'm standing right now, from what I've seen from this administration, there's like a few things I didn't like. Like I said, I don't really want to help Israel with this war at all. I certainly don't want to give them any money. I just think the dude has the best intentions, you know, kind of wants like everyone to win. You know, America first. That's what it seems like to me. And I don't know. Like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm completely open to being proven wrong, you know, but this shit just, I don't know, the wins keep stacking up, dude. That's what I see. I don't know. I gave you a thumbs up, Matt, not because I like you, because you gave Dildo a wrench. I know. There's a lot of power to give that guy. This was years ago when I first gave it to him, but he just started like muting and blocking everybody. He just went on like a bounce spree. This is so funny. He started muting everyone just kind of at random. This is hilarious. It's a lot easier to take criticism when you have FU money. I mean, that's true, but the whole world shitting all over you. I don't know. Like I said, man, like I don't like when I get downvotes on a YouTube video. I don't you know how you could just have the whole world be like, we hate you, you're a fascist. He's like, I don't care, I'm pushing through. It's like, you're the man. 728 false allegations against President Trump proven false. Right. Absolutely. Can we have one allegation against Biden? No. Okay. Can't even talk about it. Can't even mention that it's weird that he has all these dealings in the Ukraine. That's odd. And then we go to war with them pretty soon after that. That's peculiar. That is odd. You know what I mean? It's weird. But no, Trump inflated his condo price. We got to lock him up. Unfucking believable. Biden won by so much because Trump was hated so much. Lol. I mean, I guess it's possible. It does not. That is not what I hold in my heart as true. I don't believe it. I think a lot of people wanted to get back to normal. I think Trump could have handled BLM better. You know, he could have handled some of that stuff down the stretch a little bit better. People just wanted to get back to normal, but I don't know. I don't know if I buy it. I don't know if I buy it. You love my political arc? Let's go. Nah, I only block non-entertaining gay spurgs. That's true. I mean, it doesn't really come up that much. I don't really have that many problems in the chat here at all. Could I quote this beast? Europe is not looking out for us. Canada isn't looking out for us. China isn't looking out for us. I'm going to put America first. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. And he keeps doing it. You know, there's this whole. I honestly don't know how he has like the energy to do it. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't keep this pace up. I'm half his age. I couldn't keep that pace up. All these speeches, press conferences, the pressure of being the president and then having to like fly to all these countries. And he's just always going, always talking, always making things happen. It's just like, damn, dude. It's like, you know, what's his name? I'm not just going to glaze Trump this whole time, but what's his name? Dana White. He's like, he's one of the toughest guys I know. And I'm in the tough guy business. It's like, you can't argue with that, dude. Like, my dad is probably roughly Trump's age. They are not the same level of energy. You know, like I love my dad. Don't get me wrong. But it's like, you know, he's old now. He's just turned, I think, like 72. You know, it's just like, yeah, you know what I mean? He's like up there. And it's like when I hang out, it's like he's got to like sit down a lot. You know, he's got to chill. Like he can't just kind of keep going. You know, he's an old dude. I couldn't imagine him running for president. I couldn't imagine him doing any of this stuff. Just like, I'd be like, Dad, stop, don't do that. Just chill. Like the whole world hates you, man. Why, you know, especially if you're a billionaire, it's like, just retire. Like you just don't do anything. Who cares? You know, just get blown all day forever. You know, you know what I mean? Like who cares? But that's not that guy. That's not who he is. It seems like other people though, like who maybe aren't as like naturally energetic, kind of have like a different way of dealing with it. I don't know. There's always like that famous, the famous video of like Hitler, you know, freaking out at the Olympics. And he's just like, oh, that guy's on meth. That's a methed out Hitler, dude. That's like, that's scary too. You're just like, oh, okay. I could see why he was so paranoid and crazy. He was riddled with methamphetamine. Well, it appears, Bush, what happened to those 23 million people who voted after the polls closed? Oop, yeah, and where did the millions go when in this last election? They just up and disappeared. Just weren't there. Weird. It's just such so strange, so peculiar, such a weird thing. And then there was like people were arrested recently for tampering with an election. It was proven. There's like 3 or 4 of them were proven to have been like. So it was like, it wasn't even crazy to say that. It's like, it happened. These guys got charges. They got arrested for doing it. Unbelievable. I don't like being lied to. I hate being lied to. And I hate being lied to by like, what, an entire coalition of people who claim to represent me? No, sir. No, you don't. No, ma'am. But as I was saying, you know, methed out Hitler. Some people have like different ways of like, I guess I don't think I'd have the energy of Trump. And some people just, you know, but they got to be on, right? Especially if you're the president of a country. Well, there's a video that was going around today and has been talked about quite a bit. And there's a lot of speculation as to what's going on. I'm just going to play the video for you. You guys make your judgments. It's just 40 seconds. So you guys tell me what you think happened here, okay? You can just tell me what it looks like to you. Just for reference, this is Macron, the president of France, Keir Starmer, the prime minister of England, and this guy, I guess, is Merz. I don't know who he is. I assume he's something to do with the government of Germany. But they're on a train, I guess, to Kiev because they love this war with Ukraine. They just want to see the entire generation of Ukrainian men just wipe the fuck out. That's what they want. So they're all on this. So you guys just tell me what you think is happening in this moment.
It's a long walk. We've met in Poland.
It's through my bathroom, huh?
Yeah. It's literally. We came through Germany.
Yeah.
And then we made it to
German
France.
bedroom and
We got through the border.
Right.
The photo and after that, so it would be a lot of a drink.
Yeah.
Oh, that was an interesting little motion there.
Yeah.
Huh.
On va bien.
I'll just pocket whatever that was real
Merci.
quick.
Thank you.
Uh, what did you guys think was happening here? In this moment right here.
So it would be a lot of
One,
Yeah.
2. Huh. I don't know. That looks to me like someone has something on them that they would prefer not be photographed, because what after this they all pose for photographs, right? Is that not what happens right after this? Does that look like that to you? That's what it looks like to me. It looks like they just were like, oh, this can't be in the photo. Let me hide whatever this is. I mean, I don't think I'm adding that to anything.
Yeah.
So it would be a lot of a drink.
Yeah.
Look, this guy grabs, he like grabbed that. Like, look at this guy here. He grabs this and then looks to Macron. Watch it.
It would be a lot of a drink.
Yeah.
And they both like have like that moment.
Of a drink.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, Macron. And then Macron's like, oh yeah, better hide that. So they both have an instinct to hide something on the table. They both felt that. They both felt they should cover this up. Why? They're just in some meeting. Who cares? Well, like, why would that? What's going to ruin the photograph? It's like, well, you didn't clear off the papers. You didn't clear off the water. Odd behavior. And what I've seen people say is this here is supposed to be a drink stirrer, some kind of a drink stirrer. Okay. Now I've been a bartender for quite some time. Oh fuck yeah, Boosh, let's go. Hell yeah, buddy. Thank you for joining the channel. That's awesome. Thank you very much. You're the fucking man. Thank you, Boosh. Appreciate that, pal. I've been a bartender for a long time, lots of experience with different types of glassware and stirrers and all types of stuff. That does not look like a stirrer that I've ever seen. The only thing it could kind of look like is maybe a bamboo toothpick. It's a very specific thing, but you'd use that generally to skewer like an olive or a lime or something, a flour, whatever you want to do with the drink. I don't see anything skewered. I don't see that. And I don't think I would have the instinct to cover that up under any circumstances if someone was taking a picture like, oh, let me cover up this toothpick. I'd hate for someone to see this bamboo toothpick in my shot. That would be humiliating. I don't even think that would cross my mind. Wait, what are you pointing to? What the fuck is this? Oh, are you talking about the membership thing? Are you hold on. Let me I'll get right back to it. What your emojis? Yes, the Romanian. Okay, so the story with that, and I'll get right back into this. The story with that is so I was an actor for years ago, for years back in the day. I was attempting, and I did a thing. Oh wait, hold on. Where is that window now? Oh my God, there we go. I did a thing so when I moved to LA, I had an audition for this TV show, right? And it was like gonna film in Romania, and it was gonna pay a lot, thousands and thousands every week. Gonna take me to Romania, pay for my things, this whole stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I did the audition, and the dialogue was horrible. I mean, it was so bad. It was just terrible. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, they I guess I did well enough for a callback. So they call me back in for the second audition. I'm like, you know what I better do? I better watch this show. It was like some Showtime or Cinemax show. I forgot. It was like kind of like a small budget thing. And I was like, let me look at this show. Let me just see what it is. So I'm watching it. It's horrible. The acting's bad. And it's just stupid. And I'm just like, and then they like have this sex scene. They just hold in this sex scene for like a long time. I'm like, why are they? What is this? How is this helping the story? Oh my God, this is softcore porn. So I auditioned for softcore porn. I didn't know. They didn't make that clear at all. And I guess they wanted me. And I thought at the time, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a big serious actor. I probably can't have softcore on my resume. Like, I wouldn't mind taking the money and doing the job, like whatever. It's just a job. It turns out I did far more embarrassing things with my acting career than that. But I was early on, and I just thought it was the right career move because it would be on my resume forever. So I didn't do it. And I looked back and I was like, I should have done it. I should have gone to Romania and just done it. And so the meme that's been on this channel is should have gone to Romania. So when you're a certain level of member, you are a Romanian. There's also the yoga instructor because there was that. Should have gone to Romania. Yeah. I think Zach's knows. Zach's was there for the way more humiliating stuff. Zach's was there when I think I showed. So I would just come sometimes, like, show my old acting work on like streams to like laugh about it. We're doing like long streams and we had to cover up some stuff. And I forgot about this. I truly had forgotten about this. And I was like, oh, I did do one that was pretty embarrassing. And I was like, oh, that's right. And I told Rob, who was like kind of working as like sort of like a producer on the show. And he found it. And it was this movie, this terrible cable, like one of those like recreation shows, like sort of like documentaries where like there's a talking head telling you about what's going on and then they recreate it. Like, I was one of the recreation actors. So they have this story is this guy's a yoga instructor, right? But like on the side, he's being a BDSM like puppet or whatever for like these old ladies to like make money on the side. And so there's footage, there's a shot scene of me being a coffee table for these old ladies at their tea party. And we watched it. And then that became that's why why the top tier is yoga instructor. I don't know what I would have thought would have happened. I don't know what could have possibly been the outcome. Of course, that's what would happen because it's going to be associated with you. Like, I popped into comics division stream the other night and I said something to what's his name, Culture Casino, and I was just like, damn, that beard is glorious. And he goes, Matt, you're the best table. I was like, damn, it's just never going away. It's just part of the identity now. Like, all right, well, I did do that, so it is funny. But okay, so what do you guys think? You think they're hiding coke? I think they're hiding coke. That's what it looks like to me. It's a weird thing to do, to just hide this,
So it would be a little bit of a drink.
Yeah.
Oh, cover that up. And Macron, like, so shiftily
Drink.
Yeah.
grabs that, hides it. It's so sketchy. And then he almost kind of like squeezed his arm a little bit, like kind of out of anxiety. It's so bizarre. I don't know if those guys are doing lines, but it sure looks like it.
Yeah.
And then let me just stealthily just put this in my pocket. I don't know. Look at the hand on that guy's wrist. Sexual. I don't know. It is one of these things. It's just so sketchy. So sketchy.
So it would be a little bit of a
Cinch a dildo. That's an ex-banker, ex-lawyer, and an ex-asset manager in the frame. Of course it's Blow. That's pretty funny. Yeah, you're probably right. That's a good point. I don't know.
drink.
Yeah.
That's just so sketchy. And then it's even weirder, I guess, because the silence that follows after it. And I don't know if it's just because they're posing for pictures, but it's just so awkward to like, did they all just see him do that and they don't want to say anything about it? Like, it's so bizarre.
Make a photo and after that you will. So it will be a little bit of a drink.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
Super. God, these guys are so
Yeah.
awkward with just squares.
Merci, gars.
I mean, look, it is uncomfortable to get your photos. Like, I hate having my photo taken, but like, it's just like, that was sketchy. God, I can't stand these bureaucratic midwits. They really are the worst. People like that are absolutely the worst. Like Kamala Harris, same thing. It's like, there's no soul there. There's no like person. There's no like opinions or principles or convictions or passions. There's literally just, how do I win? How do I get power? That's who these people are. Bureaucratic midwits is perfect. It's exactly what it is. Yeah. So it looks to me like they kind of got busted doing some blow. This story was going around all day. It was on Twitter. It was, Count Dankula put out a video about it. He's like, it's a tissue. People took like close-up pictures of close-up frames of the thing. It might be, but that is just such bizarre behavior, right? Like when you see, like when he goes for it, right? And then beyond that, then he goes and like sneakily puts it in it. You're like, what are you doing? What are you doing back there, Macron? What was that? What are you doing? Why are you hiding that? And this guy, why are you hiding what looks very much to be like a Coke straw or Coke spoon? What are you doing? What are you doing there, big guy? Pretty interesting. Yeah, pretty interesting. I don't know. I really don't, to me, it's exactly what it looks like. That's what I see. I'm like, that looks like that to me. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what just happened. So I don't know. There's a lot of conversation about it today, but it's, look, like I said, you know what I mean? Like, it's not easy to be on like that all the time, having to give speeches and constantly be, it's like, there's not really many days off when you're like a public official, especially like that high profile of one. It's like you see all those presidents, like how much they age in a few years. I mean, Jesus Christ, Biden looked like he was about to die. He was pretty bad in the beginning, but then it was just like a corpse, like a zombie. So it's like, it's stressful. It's a lot. I mean, I'm sure giving yourself a little pep wouldn't hurt that job. You know what I mean? I could say firsthand, cocaine can help you when you're tired. It can keep you awake. I used to do a lot, and you will sometimes not sleep. Just won't. So I guess if you're the type of guy who, has got to be on the go all the time, got to keep moving. And there's always that video of like, what's his name? Who's the guy? Zelensky, right? And he's always like rubbing his nose and kind of, like a little coked out and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. I would say so. It's like, like the baseball players in like the 80s and stuff were all yacked out. You know what I mean? They were all doing coke like the whole game. It's not that probably. Yeah, probably. Obama aged 30 years. Well, yeah, he did. Look like a completely different guy. What's your economic policy? Mr. Trump is doing what Mr. Trump does. He only cares about Mr. Trump. Exactly. That's so gay. Yeah. Zelensky is constantly tweaking. Yeah. Always, he kind of has like a bit of that, cocaine confidence is what it looks like to me. A little bit. You get that from doing cocaine. You do. Kamala Harris, the shortest, most expensive presidential campaign in history. She said nothing. She's truly an empty suit. The emptiest of suits. I've never seen a more empty suit in my life. She's so just unlikable, She's just like one of the most, this phrase is so overused, but she really does. There's a Karen-y vibe to her. You know what I mean? Like she just feels like the type of person who would like, berate like a service worker, like a food service employee because like, just cause she's that's the vibe you get. She doesn't have any real personality. Like she's so soulless the way she pretends to like manufacture moments. And yeah, they spent so much money on that campaign, did nothing. And then they went up, they even lost money. They went over budget. You're like, where'd the money go? How did you do that? They did stuff like they built a whole set for that Call Her Daddy podcast, which I don't even know if that has 1 million views as of now. It's just like you spent all that money, no influence. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Ukraine is a small country next to a big country. That big country is Russia. Wow. Thank you, Mrs. Harris. You sure straightened that up. And the idea they thought that she could win is so funny. Like the administration that picked her, right? The Biden administration, they just hid her away for like 2.5, 3 years. Like she had some fumbles early on, and then we basically like didn't see her. And then they pulled her out, out of storage, and they're like, go ahead, win. She had no chance, no prayer. She's just one of the most unlikable candidates too. She just like grates on you. Because like Hillary Clinton had that too, where you just like heard her speak, you're like, ugh, shut the fuck up. Like you just, no matter what she's saying, you just like, ugh. Kamala is brat though. Yeah, that's true. She is quite brat. Odd that didn't win. Odd that didn't ring with the American people. Some 25-year-old girl stupid saying. Odd that America didn't vote for the brat president. My God. Remember her talking to teenagers at NASA like they're retarded? Yeah. It's also fake. I agree. It's very, very disappointing. Very disappointing. Not even just, it's just like embarrassing. Like I saw her doing a speech recently and it was just like so cringe. You're just like, like I thought about doing a video about it, but I was like, why? Who cares? It's so irrelevant. Everyone knows she sucks. It's just like there's no point, They're talking about running her. Oh, you know what? I do have one more story. I was gonna wrap it up, but I have one more story. They're talking about running her, but there's no. Stupidest idea ever. Like, I think like empathetically, she didn't really have a lot of time to prepare for that campaign. You know what I mean? That's very true. That was pretty much just dumped on her. You know what I mean? Like in the middle of the race, and so like in her defense, it's like, yeah, maybe she could have run a better campaign if she had any time to prepare for it. Probably not because she's an unlikable harpy, but in her defense, that's just a very sudden thing to have happen to her. Oh yeah. The code switching. Yeah. Toss to Hispanic, different accents, toss to Jamaicans. I know it's so, it's true though. It's really true. Funniest thing is that girl was trolling with that brat thing. Really? I don't even know who that was. I don't even know the story about that. I just saw it ran. She had 4 years to prepare. Now, look, I'm me, I'm no Kamala Harris fan. I'm just saying that's what it looked like to me. I was just like, to be fair, she didn't really have a lot of time. But anyway, okay, last story. I'm gonna get out of here. All right. Not this one. Not this one. Where the fuck? Where is it? Oh, I have so many windows open. Why can't I? There we go. Wait, there we go. Okay. Got it. Speaking of trying to run people for president, the Democrats are trying. California Governor Newsom calls on cities to ban homeless encampments on public property. Dude, they are priming this guy to be the Democratic candidate for sure. For sure. They know homelessness is, I wouldn't even say an 80-20 like issue. It's a 90-10 issue. It's a 90-10 issue, I think. I don't see I don't really even see the debate. You know what I mean? It's just like whenever I hear people defend it, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't see how that works. Like, and it's just like when you encounter it, if you live in a city where there's like homelessness, like it's repulsive, it's dangerous, it's like makes you depressed, it just brings everything down. And it's like it doesn't help those people. Those people are not better off if you let them stay. But California, man, pushes it so hard, just makes it like, and it just grows because like people from other states, they're like, oh, well, I can go live on the street, do drugs, and they're going to pay me. Yeah. Okay. Of course. That's why it explodes. And California's beautiful. It's a nice state. And so now this guy Newsom, suddenly, I lived in California for 10 years, 7 in the city of Los Angeles. The homelessness just got worse and worse and worse while under his watch. Far, far worse to reach like kind of like end of the world, like fever pitch during COVID, which was genuinely like scary. And now this guy's like, hey, you just can't stand. We can't be having homeless encampments on public property. Also, still like, how about no encampments, period? How about not anywhere? Where did you live before LA? New York City? I was, or well, I was in a town called Moore Park. It's like a little suburb outside of LA, and then New York City before that. What was I saying? Like how about just a universe like that doesn't, not public property, all property. No homeless encampments. Full stop. We don't do that anymore. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Okay, so California Governor Gavin Newsom on Monday pushed cities to ban homeless encampments or sleeping rough on the streets and using state funds to force the issue. And it's like they spend so much money on these homeless people. It's crazy. Calling the Golden State. By calling on local governments to prohibit shelters from being erected on sidewalks, parks, bike paths, and other properties. I mean, when I lived in LA, where I lived in the Valley, in like North Hollywood, Studio City area, every single, and there's a lot of them, every single overpass, all homeless people underneath it. Every single one. I mean, it's scary too. It's just kind of like, well, I don't want to walk down that street. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be, it's like, and they're gross, and there's just trash everywhere, and it's depressing. It's just so utterly disgusting. Now Newsom's just, he's talking tough on the homelessness issue. Are you, Newsom? You've had like 8 years to deal with this, buddy. How long has he been in office? Like a while. You never done shit about it. Suddenly you're like, he's going on his podcast. He's talking to conservatives like, oh, my son loves Charlie Kirk. They are priming this guy to be the next Democratic presidential candidate. And he's trying to pretend like he's not the cause of all these issues that have just destroyed California, an absolutely gorgeous state. I mean, it was unlivable. I mean, it's one of the chief reasons I left, California, was like the homelessness was insane. It was crazy. I was working at a bakery, and I'd be getting ready to go to work, and there's just a woman just walking by my house smoking crack 8 a.m. Cool. Really glad we have this. Really glad I pay all this rent. Unreal. People will also be barred from sleeping on streets with a sleeping bag, blankets, or any other materials for more than 3 days in a row. Why any length of time? According to state-issued guidance. The state can't force cities to impose a ban, but for those that do, Newsom has promised to dole out $3.3 billion in state funds to pay for housing, mental health treatment, and other services. Local leaders asked for resources. We delivered the largest state investment in history. They asked for legal clarity. The courts delivered. I mean, look, as far for many residents of Los Angeles, the homeless capital of California, the plan is too little, too late. That won't change anything. Everything that's been going on here, it's all crap. I think it's the worst system right now, said one business owner near Venice Beach, a tourist hotspot and notorious hangout for unhoused people. Good thing they used the right word. New York Post. Unhoused people. Bums. Call them what they are. The owner, who asked to remain unnamed, doesn't trust LA to enforce Newsom's encampment ban, even if the city goes along with it. Yeah, look, it's probably more money getting laundered. Yeah, it probably is just going to be more bureaucratic bullshit. You know what I mean? Just like shifting money around and just, more state funds and just bloated government spending instead of actually just dealing with the problem, which is this is now illegal. You have a week. After that week, we are coming through with fucking bulldozers and a trash crew, and we're cleaning all this shit up. You have 1 week. Leave or be bulldozed. That's it. And just statewide. No more of that shit. It's crazy that they've let it go on for this long. So look, I think this is all a corporate play, a political play by Newsom. I think Newsom's just trying to seem like more of a moderate Democrat. Hence the reason why he takes those guys on his show. The more the right-wing guys. No, I'm just gonna have a conversation with him. Just have a conversation, and is doing stuff like this. I think they're priming him to be the next presidential candidate for the Democrats. But look, if this actually does have any positive impact on the cities in California, good for Californians. They need it. This is appalling that they live in these conditions, like that they spend all that money, all those taxes, and this is the city that they live in. I mean, it's insane that is just acceptable. And they always try to frame it too. They always try to make excuses for why. It's always just like, it's like, it's like they're drug addicts or they're mentally ill. That's it. That's 99% of the issue. And it's mostly drugs. So let's just stop pretending. These are people who've just quit life for whatever reason. Whatever. I'm not going to judge the individuals, but I'm judging this result, and it's unacceptable. And it's just like, yeah, no, man. Like, if you encourage this, if you pay for it, it's going to continue. Austin has a similar problem. When I first moved to Austin, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. When I first moved to Austin, like, I didn't see like where I was going to move to. I just like did everything online, and like where I stayed in Austin was different from where I moved. And as soon as I'm pulling up, I was like, the median on this major road here, all tents, all homeless tents. I was like, what? Why did I leave California then? Why did I come to Texas? It's the same shit. Luckily, the city got a camping ban. They banned, once again, just the most liberal namby-pamby. Can't deal with it. Can't actually say what it is. It's a camping ban. You can't. They're just camping. They're just roasting marshmallows, singing fucking songs, whittling wood. Yeah, they're just camping. You fucking nuts. Why is everyone where's everyone's balls? They're drug addicts, dude. Drug addicts are publicly using drugs and living in squalor. And you think it's compassionate to let them live like that? That's the right thing to do? Fuck you. Fuck them too. Is Austin even Texas? I mean, kinda. A little bit. But I feel like when I leave this city, I feel like that's when Texas really starts. I feel like this is its own thing. There's a little bit of it, but yeah, no, it's definitely its own kind of Texas. That's for sure. You moved to Texas being a liberal gay boy. I'm not a liberal gay boy. Not anymore. The point of that clip is that I was a liberal gay boy. I'm not a liberal gay boy anymore. Austin is California and Texas to a degree. Definitely to agree. But I'll tell you what, most major people talk this shit about Austin. But it's like, dude, the other cities in this are like this too. Like when I was in, if you go to like Dallas, it's like there's plenty of like pride flags and stuff like that. That's like, it's not, Austin's its own thing, but this idea that like other cities aren't progressive is bullshit. Like they're all pretty much, San Antonio probably is the least. It's a little bit more of a Texas city, but like, Houston and Dallas are they're very like progressive. It's not quite as gay as Austin, but it's similar. There's a lot of that. It's like pretty much like every city, like most major cities in America are kind of a little bit the same. And they kind of have like a lot of that, you'll see George Floyd murals and big pride flags and all that shit. So I don't know. What's up, Zax? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Austin is also dying. I don't know about that. Austin's growing, man. They're building shit constantly. The skyline here is nuts. How much it's changed even since I've lived here. And like to talk to people who lived here just 10 years ago, it's just like it's a completely different skyline. Constantly. Cities are progressive by nature. Yeah. And it's chilled, dude. I'm telling you, since Trump won, it has really chilled. I just don't see it nearly as aggressively. I feel like people have cooled out. That's what I think. That's what my observations. Houston is not that bad. I live in Houston. I mean, I'm just saying what I've seen. I'm sure it's not that bad. Austin's not that bad. Like I don't notice it. Like I don't feel the pressure anymore. I think probably when I first moved here during the pandemic and stuff like that, or towards the end of it, whatever, it was still pretty bad. People were like, "Oh, Texas didn't do the pandemic." I was like, "Yeah, you did." When I came here, you couldn't sit at a bar, and like I had to wear a mask and shit, and that was in April of 2021. You did. I kind of want to go back to Houston, to be honest. There, Boosh. I haven't been in a while. I hear the food there is really good. I hear they're very, very good food. Matt, did Austin change or did you change? It's a good question. I think Austin changed. I don't think I've changed all that much. You know what I mean? I think I've developed my perspectives and stuff like that. But like, I just spent, 30 minutes there just glazing Trump. You know what I mean? I was praising the hell out of that guy. So it's like, I obviously am still kind of like, and I've been like that for a little while, probably more informed now, but I think I'm just at odds with like the kind of mainstream politics. But even in like casual conversations, like when there's, well, it's just dudes, when there's chicks, whatever. But when it's just dudes, you can even hear like people just aren't as cooked. There isn't just that like goodwill towards like left wing or progressivism anymore. It just doesn't have that. People are much more comfortable kind of being like, yeah, that's stupid. I don't like that, And I just feel like even just a few years ago, it wasn't like that. I feel like it was more tense. It was a little bit of that kind of witch hunt. Like I told the story about like going to a bar and talking with a stranger about how I voted for Trump, and just like the bartender overhearing it and telling the other bartenders, like just slander me, to like out me. That doesn't happen. I don't see that happening anymore. That type of stuff is just not, it's just not as intense. It just doesn't have that war vibe. I think the left realizes they lost and they're just like, fuck it. They're still pretty fiery about Palestine. Obviously, they're still pretty fiery about immigration and stuff like that. But I think they've realized they've lost the big part of the culture war, and it is what it is. It just is what it is. I mean, there's no like, you can't, you're losing, clearly. And I think they've realized that. So Montrose's pride flag everywhere. The drags talk to kids, lots of police reports. Yeah. See, I'm telling you, like it's a lot of these cities still, it's not just an Austin thing. But it's chilling. Do you know Stupenzo? I do not know Stupenzo. And he sounds like a fucking wonderful guy. Okay, gonna wrap up here. Next week on this channel, I will be doing a special stream for my birthday. Gonna have a birthday stream here because I'm gonna be 40 next Thursday. Fucking crazy. So gonna have a happy birthday stream here on the channel. Gonna play I'm not gonna surprise. I'm gonna surprise. I'm not gonna spoil it, but gonna have some activities, some fun activities. So we're gonna be doing that, and then that's gonna be a good time. And then I might not stream the next Monday because my mom's gonna be in town and we're gonna be hanging out. So I don't know if I'm gonna stream. Maybe not. I'm just saying tentatively. I don't know. But this is I know, right? Fucking gross, dude. Disgusting. But that's the plan. So next week I'm gonna have some fun guests. My buddy Mike's gonna drop in. Vidge is gonna be there. Zax is gonna be there. Maybe Leon, maybe Cinevere. We'll see. But and then probably, I have like something planned for like the first like hour and a half. And then after that, it'll just be like a hang. So people could just come. So it might be all the old faces. Maybe we'll see fucking Ruben, see what that idiot's up to. Rock fan. Who knows? Anybody who wants to come, all the pals, just after we do the first like fun thing in the beginning. So, all right, folks, that's going to do it for me. Thank you very much for watching the 70th episode of the MFer Podcast. I hope you had a ball. Hope you had a blast. Hope you had a lot of fun, and I will see you all in a week. Ta-ta, y'all.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Yeah, boy!